every Sunday. Side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here! Relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp at mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Sunday!
Shake hands for danger. Meet a guy you ought to know. I used to laugh at safety. Now they call me Three-Finger Joe.
Yeah, you know what day it is today. You know, if you're hearing Three-Finger Joe, you know, yeah, we're always talking about, listen, you've tuned into Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show in the storm zone today with our special stand-in. You have Ray Guarino right here, you know me, but we have Mr. Matcoman Brian with us on the other end. Brian, how are you today?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, we're having a good time. This is, we maybe in the middle of a storm front, both of us in our respective areas of reside. But you know what? We're still going to squeeze a show in today, and we're going to have a good time.
Yep, you got that right. I tell you, we had a half-decent day yesterday, and today, man, it is just nasty. The wind and everything, and it's just crazy weather.
But that's okay. We have you sitting in for Chris. Chris is out on assignment today, taking care of some business. That's what we do around here. So we call in the we have 8 teams. We call in the our replacement string, and we just go on. We just do what we got to do.
Yeah.
So
kind of throws my week off because you start out the Sunday with cars and coffee, and nobody brought their stuff out today. So
yeah,
kind of throws you off a day.
And I even went out just to go to the chiropractor this morning, and like the roads were empty. I don't know. People are battening down the hatches. I don't know what they're doing, but they weren't out, which was odd. It was very odd. So yeah, you can call and talk to us at 516-572-7440. Of course, check us on the web. We're Motormouth Radio on Facebook and _Motormouth Radio on Instagram and YouTube. It's Motormouth Radio and Motormouth Video, 2 channels, and we're on Spreaker. You could look us up on Spreaker as well. We put our shows on there. We had a spike on Spreaker on Friday. I got a text this morning from the station manager. She says, "Hey, what did you do different?" I'm like, "Man, I didn't do nothing." But you started out thinking you were in trouble, and then you got a pat on the back. So exactly. So we had Carl Anthony on the show here last week, and then we had Carl Anthony with us on Thursday night. Of course, the show that we do on Thursday is Playing in Traffic, and I say, hey, maybe Carl advertised it. I don't know, but let's kick off the show with a call. We'll start early. We'll say, "Hi, caller. You're on with the Motormouths, Ray and Brian."
Yeah, hi. I had a story about, I don't know if you want to hear it.
Who are we talking to, first of all? What's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Carrie. I'm in West Hempstead.
Hi, Carrie. What's up?
Well, when I was about 14, and this is going back to late 69, early 70, I was sitting at the edge of the driveway with some friends on our bikes, and this beautiful 69 Camaro rolling down the street. So we raced down to see if we could catch up to it, and he pulled away. Fortunately, he turned in on the next block. We caught up to him. By the time we did, he was parked. So we got out. We were oohing and ahhing over the car, and a couple of these older guys came out. They must have been in their mid-20s. I thought they were going to chase us away, but they didn't.
Okay.
Anyway, they came over and said, "Hey, you like the car?" I said, "Yeah." And And I said, you know what it is? I said, Camaro. And he said, yeah. Well, this is a special kind of Camaro. He said, you want to get inside and sit down? Yeah. So I'm in there making believe I'm driving. And he told me about it. This was a Baldwin Motion Performance Camaro. He said, you know what that is? I said, no.
Whoa, yeah.
And he explained it to me. Anyway, this went on for every day for a couple of weeks. And I went by, and apparently they weren't coming around anymore. So, but before I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. He, the last day I saw him, he said, you know, hey, I have something for you. And he gave me this brochure from Motion Performance.
Ah.
And I said, wow, he showed me his car and the other cars. And flash forward 10 years later, 1980, I pull into a gas station, and I see this really nice looking 67 GTO convertible, red, white interior, beautiful car. And I walk over and I see it was the friend of the owner of the Camaro. And I introduced myself. He didn't recognize me, of course. And I said, hey, you remember this kid that used to hang around and talk to Anthony, who was the owner of the Camaro? And he said, oh, yeah, I remember. And I asked about the car. He said, yeah, he still has it. He's selling it. I said, really? I got his phone number. I called the guy, and he was in Queens. He had, I think this was his aunt's house. He had the car parked in a extended one-car garage way at the end of the driveway. And I went in. We were talking, and he had the original engine wrapped in plastic on an engine stand. He had some race motor he was going to put in the car. And anyway, we got to talking, and, well, you know, I guess times changed in his life. He had to sell off everything. So I ended up buying the car.
Nice.
Wow.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say.
And, well, anyway, he had it off the road since 72. And I remember thinking, you know, look, this guy had this car all this time, and he had it off the road, and what's the matter with him? And here I am, 45 years later, the car hasn't moved 30 feet.
Right.
In my garage, and the reason I'm calling is I'm looking for some advice. I want to get the car back in the original condition, and you know, really, it's a shame to have it here with me in the garage, not doing anything.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much where I am right now. And listen, I was never an ace mechanic. I was a drag racer, but you know.
Well, I just want to come see it. You know.
Hey, well, listen. I mean, I'm in West Hempstead. I don't know where you guys are, but
well, you know, we're over here at Nassau Community College. We're in Garden City. I just drove through West Hempstead yesterday. You know what you do, Carrie? Send me an email, motormouthradio@ncc.edu, and we'll get a dialogue going. I may be able to help you out with some shops that can help you and you know, put you on the right path with that. I can, you know.
Can I get that again? You were too fast.
Yeah, Motormouth Radio, which is, or you just use MMR for Motormouth Radio.
MMR?
MMR at ncc.edu. 9 letters is all you need.
EC?
ED. Edward David Ursula. EDU. And that's all you need to know. And then you can, we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right.
Ray, don't
Wow, that's awesome.
Give me that again.
You need the address again?
Yeah, please.
MMR at ncc.edu. Or you could use motormouthradio@gmail.com. That'll work too if that hits your brain better. Either one.
Okay.
All right?
Sorry, it's Sunday.
No problem. Thanks, Gary. Well, I look forward to speaking to you further.
Thank you.
All righty. All
Bye-bye.
right. Talk to you. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was out of the clear blue.
Yeah, that was wild. That's one of those things that you're glad. And can you imagine being a kid, seeing it and stumbling across that. That's almost as bad as me dragging my father all over the state of Maryland and 2 other states looking for a car, and it was right around the corner from my parents' house.
Yes,
So
and our good buddy Bill has already replied with a big and I'm with him. I mean, I'd love to see this car. I'd love to own that car. You kidding me?
yeah,
That'd be something that'd be a because Motion, that was a big hot rod high performance place here, and what they did for people who don't know, they partnered. Joel Rosen partnered with, and Marty Shore, who we have on, was the ad guy for Motion. They partnered with the local Chevrolet dealer, and what you would do is you'd go into. A lot of times guys go into Motion and say, I want one of these. They call them the Fantastic Five. The Chevelle, Nova, Impala, or Bel Air. And you would build it the way you want, but they tell you, okay, we can work it out for you. You got to go over to Baldwin Chevrolet and you purchase the car, and you have to get it ordered this way. And what you had to do is you had to get it with the big block, because they were going to take the 396 out and put in a 427. So they wanted everything in there to be ready to go.
right.
So you would go to Baldwin Chevy, order the car, and do your financing, whatever. The car would go from Baldwin Chevy right over to Motion Performance. They would do whatever level of modification you paid for, level 1, 2, 3, whatever. And it was from simple stuff from carburetor and headers to full, top ends and suspension and ignition. They really did everything. And then you would pick the car up and you had this made to order hot rod that was, some of the best. And Joel was so sure of his work that with the Camaros, the 69 Camaros, he guaranteed the car would run, I think it was an 11.5 or maybe it was 11.2 and in the small letters, with the right driver,
Right.
And if you took it and there might have been 1 or 2 guys who came back and said, hey, this car isn't as fast. He would work it out. Let's go to the track. Let's check the car. Let my driver drive it and see. And that was the thing. If we turned to time, we did what we were supposed to do. So that was pretty bold back then to make a claim like that. But they knew what they were doing. They were that good. So,
And the craziest part is that this car has been sitting someplace in a garage, not even 25 miles from where it was put together, right?
Yeah, because Motion was down in Baldwin on Sunrise Highway, and where this fellow is maybe, I don't know, 8 miles away, not even 25, 8 and 9 miles.
Yeah, I'm not. It's been a while since I've been in New York, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's crazy that's been there the whole time.
Yeah, and there's others. You hear that. Those are those stories that you hear about. It's kind of crazy. So I look forward. I hope Carrie follows up on that, because I'd like to check that out myself.
Yeah.
So let's see. A couple things happened this week. I should have made a note on this that I didn't, so I'm going to have to read it as I'm talking. Oh yeah. I one of the things I talked about recently was on my Pontiac with the brushless fan. I had to put the water temperature adapter in the coolant flow, and I didn't have anywhere in the manifold. So from Glow Shift, I bought this adapter that goes in the upper hose. I put a picture up. It's been posted. I could do it again. So I was just looking at the Glow Shift. I took the directions out, and I said, this thing is easy. You cut the hose, you put it in, you're done. So I read the directions, and check me on this. This is where they need to proofread. Now, I have 3 temperature sensors now on my engine. I have one of them in the intake manifold before the thermostat. That was the new one I had welded in. That's the one the Holly Sniper reads to set the air fuel. I have one on the other side of the thermostat. That's where my mechanical gauge is in the car. That's a goods box. It's after the thermostat opening. GM typically put the sensor in the coolant flow between the thermostat and the radiator. That's kind of where you want to see you get the hot. And I do get 3 different temperatures on these sensors. So the Glow Shift one now is in the upper hose after the thermostat, right into the top tank. Perfect position, which is where you want it. So they tell you to identify the coolant hose you want to install the temperature sensor in. Okay. And it says, note, you want to install the adapter to the coolant hose that does not have the thermostat connected to the end of it. I'm like, but that's the top hose. The top hose goes from the thermostat to the tank. So the coolant hose that doesn't have that is the lower hose. that's the cool end. You don't want it in there. So right away in the first note on this thing, they're wrong. And then they tell you to locate a relatively straight part and do it. So it's just like one little typo. But I always wonder how many people follow that and then do something wrong and blame the company. So
Oh yeah.
instructions are good. And like I always say, Brian, it's one of my things, everybody just throws the instructions out. Nobody reads them. I actually do, because I used to write instructions. So I like to see what they have to say. But in this case, a guy could get in trouble.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And like I said, especially once you figure it out, now that you got to go out and buy another new hose because you've cut it. So,
Yeah.
that's, but who reads? Come on, Ray. That's
I
old
know.
fashioned.
I tell you what I did when I was coming up to do this project. I knew I had to cut the upper hose, and I had a problem with this hose. When I was restoring the car, of course wanted to change all that stuff, and I couldn't find a part number for this hose, and it wasn't a Pontiac hose. And I said, I searched long and hard, and I was looking through catalogs. And I was in auto parts stores looking on shelves, and it looked to me, it actually is. It also works on a Chrysler E-body, like a 273 or some of the 318s. It's got a better shape. It fits the engine to radiator landscape in my car better than the hose Pontiac used. So I did find what hose it was, and I put a new one on my car. And of course, now I saved the information, the Gates number. So now when it came time to cut the hose, I said, you know what? I took the Gates number, I looked it up again and verified the application. I went to the auto parts store and I ordered a new one. And I got it. So now I have another hose unmolested. I said, because that way, if I cut this and it doesn't work, I can, and if not, I have one to put someplace that I'll remember back when I need it in the future. Right.
Yeah. Good luck on that.
Well, you can remember to call 516-572-7440. Talk to us. Again, instructions. I was telling you and telling everybody on Thursday night that the last thing I had to do now with the remake, I did a refresh on my car and just change the interior around, carpet, seats, dash, and I put a tilt column in. All I had to do was put the steering wheel on. Okay, easy, piece of cake. You put the adapter on, the splined adapter, you run the horn wire through, you bolt it, you're done. Well, I put the adapter on, and now on the I did a column, they were very, very specific about having the horn cancel cam at the 11 o'clock position, the clock position. The problem is and I had 4 of them, 4 Grant wheel adapters, plus I looked at the stock wheel. They all come out at 2 o'clock. So I couldn't run it. Made a phone call. I actually went online and I downloaded some instruction sheets from I Did It. And they had, bottom line, I had to buy a steering wheel adapter. And the guy at I Did It told me, yeah, it's a $216 part. And I'm like, what? Does it never end? The money? I did find out, though, that I could buy the $159 part, because what they had done, in my impression, I'm backwards engineering this. The $216 part, you have to mount the wheel to the adapter, flip it over, index a hole, and drill a 1/2-inch hole through the steering wheel so that stub can come through with the horn wire. But the $159 one, you had to loop the wire into a channel in that phenolic, I may not be phenolic, but the fiber disc that actually contacts for the horn. And I think what happened was, my thought is, guys were probably not reading the directions, not putting the wire in the channel, bolting it together, crushing the wire, blowing the horn because it grounded it, and complaining. So they came out with the new setup where you drill a hole. So I ordered the $159 one and said, I can read directions. I'm going to put it in the channel. So we'll see if I'm right.
Yeah, it's scary. You spend that kind of money and drilling a hole in it, though.
Well, you know what? No, I mean, the steering wheel, it's just a hole in the wheel. And even at the end of the day, the horn button would cover that. So even if you drilled it and didn't use it, you're never going to see it.
Yeah.
You'd never know that was there. So, it's 6 to the one, half dozen of the other. Let's do this. Let's go back to the phones and back to the fun. Let's go back to the phones and say hi, Cole. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hello, Ray. Hello, Brian.
John,
Hey,
on this clandestine number again. What's up, John?
my suspicions were right. It was the water pump.
On the Corvette. Okay, well, yeah, it didn't seem like it was going to be too far off of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was leaking out from behind the pulley. But
Okay.
it was leaking bad. But yeah, God bless YouTube You. You know, I watched the guy do it, take this off, take that off. And I mean, it's not rocket science, not to insult anyone, but, you know, he kept going, and pausing the video.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, you got to have a lot of patience to get it in with the gaskets.
Yeah, sure.
Because it came with the, you know, the oak tag gaskets. And I went and bought Felpro, you know, like the OEM ones.
Yep.
There's no way to hold them on and get it all aligned.
Well,
short of having an endoscope to get in on the one side of it. Yeah, you know, I've got the reflective extendable mirrors and what have you. And I'm like, after the sixth try, and I'm like, I'm not certain that the one gasket's on correct.
Okay, something I use, John, with great success is a Felpro product. No, it was a Permatex product called, we call the gasket cinch, or it's a spray gasket material. It's like a copper-based. You spray the gaskets with it, let it set up. It gets tacky. You put it on the part, and then they'll hold in place unless you really squeeze it, and it works great.
Yeah. I resorted to alternate means because I was done. My back was shot after hanging because the car was way too low.
Right.
But yeah, I ended up using the RTV, the Permatex, and just putting a couple dabs on it. Let the pump sit on the bench overnight, set up perfect, and it took all of about 10 minutes to put it back in.
Just so you know, you really only need about 20 minutes for the RTV. It sets up pretty quick. So good. So the job is done. The car is back on the road. Everything is fine, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You know,
That's awesome.
I priced out, and by the way, you never sent me the link to that GM parts online.
Yeah, you know what? I was waiting to get I get emails from them. I don't have. I looked. I didn't have it saved. So what I will send it to you. It's after the fact for this job, but I'll send it to you next. They send me emails usually every irregularly. It's not. They don't bombard me.
Good to have in the arsenal.
Yes. So when I get it, I will send it to you for sure.
Fair enough, buddy.
Very good, John.
I ended up going down to the commercial counter at Advance, and you know, the guys in there know me. And I said to them, you got this premium, your version of it. And I know you said go with the GM one.
Yeah.
And I kept reading stuff on the Corvette forum. And I said, you know what? The GM one has got I think a 90-day warranty. And theirs was 3 years.
Okay.
Not that I want to do it again. But
No. Yeah, good. That's always good to have a warranty. Nothing wrong with that. Beauty.
Hopefully I'll still be driving it in 3 years.
Right. I hope so too. Very good. All right, John. Thanks for that info. We appreciate it, and I will get that Chevy info over to you.
Hey, Brian, who's trolling the Harbor Freight parking lot today?
I don't know. I'll definitely go after the show, though. Don't worry.
I know you're south of us, but yeah, I think you may need an umbrella.
Oh yeah, or at least a boat anchor to hold me down when the wind's blowing, because it's pretty strong.
Yeah, my deck furniture's blowing all over the place, and yeah, it's not a topless day.
No. I definitely.
You'll become topless though.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show. I always do.
All right, John. Thanks.
Thanks, John. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was. Let's see. You know what? You kind of did it today, Brian. You lit the phones. Let's go back to the phones and say hi, caller. If you're there, you might have hung up. Yeah, I think we lost him.
Call back.
Yeah. Give a call back. That's we'll get you on there. Yeah. So Brian, I know you're working on some of your stuff. You got the little bit more Mustang work going on here, which is good. Want to tell us?
I'm just trying to. Actually, normally, if you see on Thursday night, the car is usually a little higher up. I lowered it down. I'm trying to get it moved. I'm trying to get to the other side to finish up on the front strut tower on the passenger side. It's up against the garage wall, so I just need to move it over some.
All right.
And
hang on, we got our caller.
let's get the caller in.
Caller, if you're there, you're on with the Motor Mouths. This is like, I think he lets it ring 2 times and then hangs up. That's not the way it's going to work. Okay. Try again. All right. So yeah, I was really happy to see more of the car because I think that's one, never having been a real Ford guy, has always been my favorite car. And that view of it is just, it's gorgeous. Even
this is the sexy part right here.
Even with no glass, no fit, nothing. That is the best part right there.
You gotta. We turn down the lights, give it a little rub. That's the sexy spot. I know it's a PG show, but we'll keep it clean from here on out.
You got that right. So that is the formula for a nice car. If, for having a lot of, interplay with it. If it looks good, and a lot of the older cars do look good. Like I've had people tell me that, wow, at 65, man, I think that's the best looking one. I said, yeah, so do I. That's why that's why.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try this again. We're gonna keep trying this until this caller gets through. Caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths if you're there. And then there's nobody there. Okay, so. Speaking of formulas, something came up this week. It ends up maybe next weekend. The 70 Olds 442 that I did a lot of work on, did the top end on. I spoke with the owner. He wants me to put a new carburetor on it for him. So I spec'd out a new Holly Street Avenger, and we may be doing that. So he was saying, oh, what size should I get? And I said, okay, there's a formula for how to figure that out. And he says, yeah. I said, yeah, and it's real easy. And I kind of punched it into my phone. I said, Eddie, this is it. The formula is this for CFM. It's cubic inches of the engine times the maximum RPM that you're going to see. And that's where everybody gets, because it's always the guys, they're going to lie to themselves. I got a 10 grand motor. And then that's times the volumetric efficiency, and nobody knows what the volumetric efficiency of their engine is. So Holly says, you know what, you could estimate between 75 and 80% if it's a healthy engine. And you divide that all by 3456, and even on his 455, it came out to like 646 CFM or something like that. And I said, so you don't need the 800 or the 750. It's not needed. So we spec'd out a carbon, and we're going to see what happens. But that formula is, it'll really save you bacon. And I know the carburetor companies don't like it because they don't sell many Dominators that way. But,
Yeah, that's crazy. I know we've talked about it before, but, you got the guy that says, oh, I want more power. So they automatically think, a bigger carburetor. And then it's like, well, what happened to, runnability or gas mileage or this? And they open up a whole can of worms. And ironically, I had 2 4s back in the day, and I ran they had 2 Holly 650s on it. And that was just even though I jetted it down.
Yeah, it's 1300 CFM.
Yeah. And, I had the cam and everything. I mean, it was built to say, but it was just so much. And it's ironic that the car ran its best with 2 factory 4100s on it.
Oh, yeah.
And, like I said, by the time of course, I bought it all used, and it all came with it. That's why you just put it on. It on.
Let's try this one more time on the phone. Caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Yes, finally. How you doing?
Oh, this is a collect call from Bill.
You got it, from Rikers. How you doing?
Man.
How you doing, Bill? I haven't talked to you in ages.
They let you get that many phone calls in? I thought it was only one when you're in the pen.
Right.
Exactly.
What's happening?
Okay, so it's an '08 Honda Pilot, 3.5 liter. It's got 215K on it.
Oh, baby.
Now, what I suspect is wrong is the crank sensor.
Okay.
This was like the 3rd time you're driving, and it's like somebody pulled the plug on everything. It just shut off.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
No drivability issues, nothing. There's a little more to the story. The battery was a little over 5 years old. I tested it. It was weak. Now, when you crank this, you're hearing some actual, almost like burps in the intake plenum. And if you go around to the exhaust and put your hand over the pipes, you also hear some burps when it's cranking, which that sounds like it could be valves are open.
Valve timing, yeah.
And it's trying to fire. However, if that cam crank correlation got out of sync, would that allow it to do that? Almost sound like a jumped.
Well, yeah, it's like a jump timing chain. But at 215,000, I think the propensity for worn valves and valve seats, a leak down test would solve that immediately. Would tell you immediately if you're leaking past.
So also, could they do a quick relative compression test, and then it would show the readings, you know, some of them weak, or if the belt actually jumped, even, you know, like one tooth, the readings would be all over the place, correct?
Yeah, cylinder pressure, yeah, that's why, like with the motor running, that's with a good scan tool you can do. You can kill cylinders, and you can see, but it has to be running to do that. I think
I've got a basic Actron. Now, when you do crank it, you see the tack lift slightly, which should indicate that there's crank sensor activity. There's a limited amount of data stream. It did show 4.5 degrees advance on the timing while cranking at 178 RPM.
Yeah.
Now, when I changed that battery, any codes or freeze frame or pending are gone, but I don't know if crank sensor would be, what the heck is it, a PO340, but there are no codes.
All right. The way that
coming up.
Yeah, crank sensor, it's a frequency output, so you need a scope.
It's a 3-wire on this sensor.
Yeah, you need a scope. And you know what? It's funny. I was going to bring it in today, and I didn't. Brian, I found something that I've talked about in the past. I was cleaning up on my desk, and I have a small handheld 4-channel oscilloscope that I bought years ago. That would be the way, because you got to read frequency. Because I forget if the crank trigger puts out a sine or a square wave. I know that it does.
Yeah,
I think it's square.
Because it's a 3-wire, it puts out a square wave. I'm guessing, I saw a video, I think it's the 2-wire that puts out the frequency.
Yeah, I know. You're going to have a ground, a 5 volt reference.
I think if you had a Fluke 88, if you had a meter, you could test it also, because it has a bar graph on the bottom. You'll see a single.
Right, the Fluke 88. Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, this sensor's a little buried. I'm wondering if somebody with a much better scan tool could actually read the crank sensor.
Yes.
You know, while you're cranking to see if it's outputting anything.
Yeah, Brian says yes. Yeah, with a more modern more modern tool. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Do you have a mobile guy in the area? Because some of the better tools, you can actually also do that relative compression. Again, unless the readings are fairly even, if they're all over the place, it could even be a jumped belt.
Right.
At that point, this thing is headed to the crusher.
Right.
You know, with the mileage and whatever.
Sure. There is a mobile guy running around. I see him at the auto parts store all the time. They have a big white van. Damn, I'm kind of picturing his logo, but I can't. The name isn't coming to me. If it does come to me like usual later on this afternoon, I'll send you I'll send you a message.
Picture of the logo, and then maybe I get the name and.
Yeah.
I figured if somebody can diagnose fairly quickly.
Right.
You know, I mean, for me to pull the the coils, and even do the front three with a compression tester.
Yeah. All right. If I get that,
are a bit of a horror.
I'll look. I'll keep my eye out for that guy. And if I get the info, I will send it to you, Bill, without a doubt.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for the call, Bill. Talk to you soon. Huh.
Sure.
Good luck.
All right. Bye.
Yes. Thanks. Bye.
All righty. All right. That's Bill from Freeport. So we were, that's finally a real problem we can get our teeth into. So we're at the bottom of the hour. We're running a little late. So let me take care of some business here and tell you that your weather, as I look out the WHPC weather window, is powered by Pantano's Gourmet with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. Great bagels. Today is a mess, just like by Brian up here. We're going to have rain. It's not raining yet, but wind is kicking up. It's only in the 60s. Wind is going to be northeast, 20 to 30 mile an hour. They said the North Shore may be almost 50 miles an hour. So, wherever you are, batten down the hatchets, be safe. Tonight, be cloudy and windy, periods of rain in the 50s, same thing. High winds. Tomorrow, same thing. It's supposed to be a nasty, windy, crappy day, same as by you, Brian. I think you're getting a little worse than us down there in Maryland. And I have to mention to the great people that WHPC has won the Best of Long Island Award for 4 years in a row. Now, the 4-leaf Best of Long Island Award voting is open for 2026. So visit bestoflongisland.com or follow the link on the left side of the WHPC app, which you should have anyway. And you can vote once a day, every day, now through December 15th for us to get that award again. And while you're there, please vote for Nassau Community College as the best college. Dr. Maria Canzati is the best college president, and Nassau Community College for the best sports program on Long Island. Hey, vote for the best auto show, too, because we never get any love over here, and we'd like to get a little bit of this, too. So thank you for supporting WHPC and Nassau Community College. So Chris isn't here to do an honor group. Do you have a word of wisdom for people, Brian?
Well, usually my word of wisdom, even though times can be tough or you're in a tough spot, just keep walking forward. Just keep moving. Don't stop. And man, don't even let it by. I mean, don't even give it in 2 inches of it. Just keep moving.
That's good. And I'll tell you something. I was speaking with someone this week who said, we're talking about cars and restoring them. And they said, they heard you say a while ago on one of these endeavors here with the honor group about just starting, just get something done, just start and get something done. And they said, that's what I needed to do. And once I did that, I started, I got myself going, and now I got my project going. So you did have an effect on people.
That's good. I wish it had more of an effect on me. But like I said, you just got to keep moving along and you'll get it done.
Exactly. All right. So listen, stick with, I got Rob's disease. He came back in the room and now I can't talk. Stay where you are. Stick with us. We'll be back in about a minute or so, 2 minutes on Motormouth Radio. We'll take care of a couple of pieces of business here with, of course, Matcoman Brian and Ray Guarino on 90.3 WHBC. Let's hear from Jim.
Shake hands with danger. Meet a guy you ought to know. I used to laugh at safety. Now they call me Three-Finger Joe.
Your car not running right? Let the Motormouths help you out at 516-572-7440.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar lifetime nationwide warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
Okay, Mark Warman here from Graveyard Cars, hanging out with my buddies at, what's the name of it again?
Motormouth Radio.
Hey, Mark Warman here from Graveyard Cars, hanging out with my friends at Motormouth Radio. Sunday morning, I don't know what this fat bald guy's laughing about. You'll forget stuff soon enough too, my friend. Be sure to listen. When are you guys on? 10 a.m.?
Sundays at noon.
Noon on Sundays.
Excellent. This was
no, you got the promo for the best one was the first one. That's why I was because you said, what was the name of this again? That's the promo.
What better presentation could you do than that?
Hey, you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motor Mouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
Just to save themselves a minute, I've seen them lose it all. I've watched them courting trouble, seen them take a chance.
Words of wisdom from Jim Stringer. Of course, Brian, you turned us on to this, and it's become your theme song. Maybe you want to tell people why I use this as your theme song.
Well, a lot of people do a lot of very interesting things, and I'm surprised people still have fingers and eyes and everything. Like I said, it's kind of amazing what people do and not really think of the danger involved.
And this is coming for people who don't know. Anybody who listens to this show should know, but for people who don't know, Matcoman Brian is a Matco tool dealer, so he's in and out of shops all day long, mechanic shops, and he sees this stuff firsthand. We see it when we come across it, or it's in the place we work, or someone we know, but Brian sees it on an accelerated rate. So, yeah, it's, you're working, and listen, we were younger, we still do stupid stuff. But when we were younger, we did even stupider stuff, more of it. Now we're older and wiser, and we know, it's wear your safety equipment, your gloves, your goggles, boots. Don't just go out and start grinding, after you wash your hair in gasoline. Just take it easy.
Back in the day, though, it was fairly simple stuff. You took a drop light, it was a bulb and a light, and you'd be working with gas. And if you dropped it and broke, you had a fire. So, that's what,
Exactly.
And, as things got safer, supposedly, or, help prevent stuff, but people just still go to the extreme. And, that's dumb luck. When you're a kid, you get away with stuff. And sometimes you think back and you realize how lucky you were. And, like I said, I always say we love sausage, but you don't want to see it being made. And that's the way some of this stuff is in shops.
Yeah, there's no percentage in it. Yeah. So, that's, you know what? I don't know if he wants this out, but Vic he sent me a text. He's got a mobile guy, Walter. So, yeah, Bill, I got a number for you. I'll send it to you a little later, and you can get that mobile guy taken care of you. Thank you, Vic. And, Vic, if anybody needs some 55 Chevy rear-end hams, gear sets, I got 4 of them I took out of my storage garage that I had to vacate, and one of them's a posi. So if you need, get in touch with me, and we'll work something out. I got to get rid of these things. They're too heavy to keep. Also, coming up next month, this cool show, this Liars show. This is the Long Island Auto Replica Society, Liars. It's a model car show. Doing it at the Freeport Rec Center, November 8th. It's $5 to get in. And my buddy Jeff is down there, and he's part of the club, but he also shows his stuff, built some great stuff. Guys have so much talent with these models, you can't believe it. It's ridiculous. But
that's insane. Those model kits, especially the guys that will actually dissect the model itself again and then rebuild it. They cut pieces, they change. It's incredible watching those guys doing stuff.
I think it was last year, or the year before. I was there with my friend Kevin, Kilowatt Kevin, and a guy did a diorama of cars that were race cars at National Speedway and Hampton Raceway out here on the track.
Chassis Johns was there.
And there was Chassis John's Firebird. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So of course, I took pictures of it. I sent it to John's wife, and I said to her, listen, I saw this at a model show. And she was like, oh, my God, are you kidding me? I'm like, no. I said, here it is. I said, so you see, John does live. And I'm going to play a clip later on when we get towards our outro. I have a clip from Thursday night with John that I want to play. Thursday Justin used to do the outro a lot for us. Don't follow us home. He used to do what Chris's thing was. And I have one with John doing it, so I'll play that a little later. So just goes to show that, you know, on this show, yeah, we could beat something to death. But when something is gone that's worth it, like our good friend John, he's never really gone because we'll keep him around forever, whether he wants to be or not.
That's
So
it.
that's how that goes. So, Brian, something else I wanted to ask you about. I got a friend, our good friend Cliff, has a buddy who just bought a Porsche 914 out of an estate sale. Nice car. It's that orange color, way ahead of Isaac's car. I hate to say it, Isaac, but this car is gorgeous. He went to get it running, and he found a tank had a lot of muck in it, so that's coming out. But he needs a fuel pump, and he was asking, "Hey, I can't find one. Where do I get a fuel pump for the Porsche?" And what say you about that?
I would believe it or not, you know, the manufacturer for that, you know, you're not going to find one in a Porsche box, but it was either Hela or Bosch made those, and you can still find those. And actually on eBay, you can find a factory manufactured, you know, that made it for them. You can find those still on there. I did that. I had the same thing with my 4000 Quattro. When I was getting that back up on the road, I needed a fuel pump, and it was a Bosch one. I just took the original one, had a number and everything, typed it right in, and I got one off of eBay, and it worked, and the car started. But make sure he cleans that tank out really good, or run it off of a 5-gallon gas can first, and stay away from that tank, because once that stuff gets into the fuel system, he's gonna have a mess.
Yeah, I think he'll probably be sending it out. I would hope, but I'll intercede with that. Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. The only problem, yeah, Isaac says he believes the BMW or 911 Bosch will work if it's fuel injected. So that car would be what? Is that a K or J Jetronic system on that car? Do you know? We're going. Oh, I just saw the dust pop out of the top of your head.
You shouldn't ask these questions. Man,
Come on,
God.
this is Motor Mouth Radio. You know, that's what we do, man.
I know. I would have to. I think it's J.
There was an L Jetronic too, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It's an older Bosch mechanical system. I have some of the manuals at home for that stuff.
Yeah, I got them too. Like I said, that's where I made the mistake with mine. Was I didn't think the tank was that bad. And when I first got it running, it ran really crappy. And then I realized it had a pre-filter.
Oh, okay.
And I pulled that out, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I made a mistake." And of course, that stuff ran, and I had to take the CIS apart, clean all the I mean, it was a nightmare. Because once that stuff gets in there, it's a pain.
The problem I've had in the past is, and I had this with multiple cars, you buy a fuel pump for an older car. And I actually had, I had a 71 Challenger years ago. This is going back in the early 90s. And it needed a fuel pump. Yeah, it went bad. Right. So I go to my local parts store, and they took it off the shelf, blew the dust off it. It was a Carter pump. And it I think it lasted a month and a half. It was date coded 1973. It had been on the shelf since the 70s. So that's the problem. Just because you get a part that's correct and maybe even an original manufacturer, it doesn't mean it's a good part because it's been sitting in that diaphragm, the rubber, it disintegrates.
Well, that's electric. I mean, it's an electric fuel pump. And like I said, the only thing I really strongly recommend, because a lot of guys do this, and I was never a big fan of it, they always want to test it, and they'll run it without, and that's what keeps it cool, is running it with gas through it. And they'll run them couple of times. They just can't be happy with once. They'll do it 2 or 3 times, and you can lock the motor up. I mean, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy in North Carolina yesterday. We caught up after a couple of years, and he had a Fiat Spider like me, and he said that one of the problems his had was somebody put this dopey little the cube style fuel pump in the back of the car, because the factory fuel. Those cars had a drain back valve. in the system. It's a mechanical pump on the engine, but they had a drain back valve, and the drain back valves go bad. Mine is bad too. I actually have a Volkswagen part number, but I could never find the part. So what I did is I did that. I put one of those little, I don't think it's a Carter. I don't remember what brand I bought, but they call them, it's a little cube pump. And what I did is I took a Ford fuel filter that threads into the fuel bowl of the Ford carburetors, thread it right into the pump, because you want the filter at the pump, not upstream. And I've had no trouble with it. And in fact, I have it on a switch. And what I do is if the car sits for a while and I know that the fuel is drained back or evaporating because it's ethanol, I throw that switch on and I hear the pump. I let it run for a while to build pressure. Then I pump the gas, crank the car, and it usually fires right up. And then I shut the electric pump off. The electric pump will pump through the mechanical pump. So he had trouble with his. I haven't had trouble with mine. And those little pumps only make like 4 or 5 pounds. They're not, they're not heavy duty pumps. So I think that's an option too. And I don't know what the pressure would be on that Porsche, being it's injected. It's probably low pressure, only around 30 pounds, right? I don't think.
Well, it depends, because you have operating pressure and you have control pressure. It gets a little complicated with that. But at that end, though, I think it's only like maybe 60.
Okay. All right.
But again, you have to make sure. If he still has the original one, like I said, if he reads the number, he'll find one.
Here it is again. I'm like, what the hell's that noise in the studio? It's you beeping again. I'm here. I'm like, is it in my headset? Is it over here? I'm like, what? I'm like, oh no, it's like Jim's crickets. It's your freaking hot water heater over there beeping. I'm hearing it like in the background, very faint. I'm like, what is that noise? It's like, is my pacemaker going off? Like, what's happening? Jeez, that's funny stuff.
I'm so used to it, I don't hear it.
I know, I should have known. I still have the hearing. I can still hear in that frequency range. It's that's funny stuff. So so you got some work. You're going to be working on the Mustang again, which is good. Forward progress is always good progress. I know you got some undercar work to do, which is going to be fun.
Yeah, well, hopefully I can get the underneath finished. The back needs a little bit more work, but like I said, hopefully, I really want to paint. I was hoping to do it this weekend since everybody was out of the house and no smell, nobody would know the smell of it, but,
that's when you need Terry and his whirly jig thing to turn the car on its side.
Yeah, I'm still, I don't know. Like I said, when I get at the right height, I don't have too much of a problem. We go back a couple of weeks ago when Chris was talking about the shady floor jack situation. It's a little shady. These are things that we're not supposed to do, but get it up.
You're going to raise the car. Now you have to obviously go under the car, but then you have to use that spray gun. So, I mean, you can't use it. And what do you use it? You use it off to the side, I guess, or you do one of these.
Well, I get the car. I mean, the car is a little over 38 inches off the ground.
That's high. Yeah, that's good.
So, I mean, like I said, I get it up high enough and I have enough room to work. And of course, I got to get it up that high because with the eyesight problem, you're playing around with the glasses, trying to figure out what you're seeing before I miss a finger. But, again, I lowered it back down because, like I said, I'm trying to move it away from the wall so that I can do the other the other shock tower.
And plus, when you spray, you don't want to be right on top of what you're spraying. You want some space.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's tight confines when you're underneath something like that. That's yeah.
But I'm hoping. I think in the calendar, the family calendar on the refrigerator said in 2 weeks I should be just me and Lucy in the house.
Oh, okay.
So I still have an opportunity.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice.
Don't tell anybody. I hope nobody's listening.
No one's going to hear that. No one's going to know what's going on. It's okay. So yes, so that's good. So like I said, yeah, forward progress. Any progress is considered good as long as it's in a forward direction. Hopefully I'll get my adapter coming in this week and I'll be able to get my wheel back on and drive the car and see how uncomfortable my new seats are going to be.
I was waiting for 2 vice grips on
on
the shaft so that you can kind of have like the Batman wheel and you can drive around.
I could have put the old hub adapter on with the wheel and just not had the horn. I could have done that.
Well, if you were related to me in any way, because that's the first thing that goes on the car is the horn. All of my vehicles don't have a horn, and so I would be driving your car right now. So.
Yeah. But I figured, you know what? I know already. If I do it, I'm going to take it off and do it again. And one of the things that was getting me was I needed to. My horn was giving me trouble because it was shorting out in the column. I had a problem in there. And I didn't know why. You know what? I don't know if we can. Let me see if we can sneak this in. I may regret it. Let me say hi, Caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Yeah, I know you're going to regret it.
Yeah, make this quick.
Hey, Sheldon.
What? We're at the. I'm still not.
The seat will conform to your butt. If you don't know, if you don't get the Hey Sheldon. Watch Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I know. Gerard's a big fan of that show. Yeah, I'll report back. The problem is the seats. I think my seat.
I went, oh my God, I don't know if they're going to be comfortable.
All right. Well, it's going to be that they may be too tall, but I'll report back on that once I get some miles on. I'll let you know. Thanks, John.
All right, good luck.
All right, bye-bye. I forgot that was John's alter ego number. I thought it was going to be somebody else. So, yeah. So you know what? Let me play this because this was our John's sign off. Let me hear this.
All right, so don't follow us home because it won't end up good either
Or
way.
else,
but
right?
If you got Entenmann's, coffee cakes, let's talk. I got
Justin,
coffee.
Brian, what are your words of wisdom for tonight? What's going to take us out of here?
Me, don't leave that up on me. We don't have that much time.
All right. So then we're going to be.
I gotta go fix a sandwich.
Which is kind of where we usually went. Then we went into sandwiches and all of that. So that being the case, and Kim being in, and us being at the end of the show, we're going to sign off this week. Brian, thanks very much for standing in for Chris again. We always appreciate it.
Anytime, I appreciate it, and everybody stay out of trouble and watch out.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for Thunder Road, Kim's Best of Springsteen and the band. Brian, we'll be back on Playing the Traffic Thursday night, and we'll be back next week here with Chris on Motormouth Radio. So for Matcoman Brian, Ray Guarino, and for Chris Switzer, Motormouth Radio signing off. We'll see you next week on 90.3 WHPC. See ya.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye. This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision